Good afternoon, everybody. Today I'm going to be reporting, on a case that we are all going to be following, I'm sure, very closely, the Tyler Robinson case. Today in Provo, Utah, inside Utah's 4th District Court, Judge Tony Graf heard key motions in the case of Tyler Robinson, the man accused of killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Prosecutors say that on September 10th, 2025, Charlie Kirk was speaking to a crowd at Utah Valley University when a single shot was fired from a nearby building. The shot struck him and killed him instantly. Tyler Robinson, now 23, is charged with aggravated murder and faces a potential death sentence if convicted. At today's hearing, Judge Graf ruled that prosecutors will be allowed to use hearsay evidence at Robinson's upcoming preliminary hearing in July. That means that the state can rely on recorded statements, reports, and other secondhand evidence instead of calling every witness to testify live at this early stage. One of the biggest points of tension is the role of Robinson's former roommate and reported romantic partner, Lance Twiggs, known as Luna. Defense attorneys wanted Twiggs forced to appear in person at the preliminary hearing, but the judge said no. Instead, prosecutors can use Twiggs' recorded interview, where Twiggs allegedly said Robinson confessed to killing Kirk, hid the weapon, disposed of clothing, and told Twiggs not to contact law enforcement. The state also plans to use a handwritten note and text messages that say tie Robinson directly to the shooting. Judge Graf said that because a preliminary hearing is only meant to decide whether there's enough evidence to move toward a trial, not to decide guilt or innocence, using reliable hearsay is allowed under the Utah law. Robinson's defense team has been pushing back very hard. They argue that relying on hearsay makes it harder to challenge the credibility of key witnesses like Twiggs, and they're also fighting over how much the public and the media should see and hear before any trial begins. On top of that, there's a separate battle brewing over whether prosecutors may have violated a gag order by talking about evidence in the media. The defense wants the judge to consider serious sanctions, including taking the death penalty off the table as punishment. Judge Graf has delayed that decision until a separate hearing, which is scheduled for this Friday. For now, the big takeaway is today's hearing. The July preliminary hearing is still on. It will remain open to the public, and prosecutors will be allowed to lean heavily on recorded statements and reports to try to show there's enough evidence to send Tyler Robinson's case to trial for the killing of Charlie Kirk. I will be watching the next hearing closely, and especially the judge's decision on possible sanctions and whether the death penalty stays in play in this already high-profile case. So all updates I will give you as soon as they come in. Thank you, everybody.